Hey guys, I'm DJ Ab, and I got another question, and a lot of people have been asking me this in a in my emails or whatnot. That face though, and it's about de-essers or whatnot and what they are in general. And de-essers are it's quite simple. De-essers is a type of compressor. It's a type of compressor that focuses on stuff like the high frequency content and stuff like this, like his name suggests, like de-esser, that stuff, and and usually that stuff is induced or introduced to your vocals, or yeah, your vocals in general, because the esters are usually commonly used on vocals, uh, through the preamp and having loud vocals, or even loud music in general, in which that's why you see this in this master chain here. And in general, side chaining it off and making room for other things so that it don't sound as loud and as prevalent within the wanted harmonic content, and that in itself is what it is in general. It's nothing too huge about it. And people, that's why people are just asking me that. And and it's kind of the detrimental that you have a de-esser, in a nutshell, because look, if you're running two EQs here, so you basically, when you add, you might like the top end on one, like the top end on both, but in a non-perfect world, or in a perfect world, that in general won't work or whatnot. I guess that wasn't even the best of comparisons. But anyways, never mind that. In if you add two different high end frequency content, regardless, you're gonna have some very unwanted frequency content that you don't want on your high end in general, but you still want to keep that simmer, because you know that brings out some of that small presence that you'll want in that high frequency content. And much so, same thing with the mids as well. Yeah, your mid range, when you add resonance to it, you get like this sometimes, in mixing, and perhaps not in sound design, but you get some unwanted frequency content that the de-esser takes care of. And once again, just think of this like a high pass filter. A high pass filter is just focusing on this, and I'm trying to make it as slopey as possible, whatever. But anyways, you get the point. And just like a high pass filter, so it's focusing on catching all this stuff, all this nastiness that's when you raise your highs that you get. So that's what it's basically doing in a nutshell. And now I'm gonna go ahead and pull up this again. And there was something else I wanted to talk about. But yeah, that's basically what it's doing in general, and that's its basic use. So, oh, that's what I was going to talk about. Oh, and I'm going to pull up some other presets as well, because a lot of people are going to be like, well, I don't see you using a de-esser. Um, Most modern day plugins usually have like a de-esser built into it and stuff like of that nature, because you can sidechain off stuff like that. And Maximus being one of them. And of course, my favorite as well, my other favorite, Presswork, has a de-esser built into it. It's not visible, but it works pretty much in the same manner as Lurson's mastering console as well. And its natural purpose is the fact that Presswork has like saturation, has great saturation in there. And with some cases, when you do add that saturation, you're getting that unwanted frequency content again. And if you was to kick the saturation all the way up, it's the de-esser ain't gonna do shit for it. Is what I say. I apologize for cursing, but there's no other way of putting it. It's not gonna do anything for it. But yeah. So that's just something I just wanted to clue y'all in, and why one of the main reasons why I stick with press work in general, and why you don't necessarily see me use that. Another thing why de-essers are kind of the thing is because one of the natural coolnesses of using like a tape compressor, tape saturation, was the fact that it had a way of de-essing and taking away some of that unwanted top end as well. And sometimes it was replaced by hiss, which is kind of unwanted when you're using when you're using tape, of all the great things that tape saturation does, or when you use a tape machine for that matter. But one of the cool things about using a tape machine is that it had like that naturalness to it, that which birthed the de-esser. But anyways, if you like this video and if you found it informative, please leave a comment. Hopefully I didn't mislead you or anything like that. But I just want to clarify the thing about the de-esser within this, and using that de-esser in general, and what it does to either your vocals, or when you're mastering something or mixing something or of that nature. I'm DJ avemcree, and you have a nice day.